to the channel. Today we're going to be doing an install of the SmallEngineVelocity start button. It's going to remove the controls, your right side controls, your kill switch and your start button. And all it's going to be is a little button like this. So this is a 16 millimeter, and he also offers a 19 millimeter. And the 19 millimeter, you will be able to mount it in the hole of your battery box for your high beam or your gas light if you chose to go that route. My battery box is not in the best of shape. It's cracked. This is broken over here, so I'm not really too concerned. I'm going to replace it eventually. So I'm not really too concerned, but I'm going to drill mine underneath the bottom of the front cover because the front cover is really messed up on my battery box. So if I put a hole in it, not a big deal. It's got a harness. It's got the harness, hooks up to the button. That's it. Boom, you're done. I already went ahead and started taking some stuff off because I haven't watched any videos on this or anything. This is just me winging it. Figuring out as I go. So I already got the battery box off, as you can see. I'm going to show you guys what's going on over here and where this thing plugs into. So what you got to do is you definitely got to disconnect your ECU 100%. That's got to get disconnected. It's 3 bolts. There's 1 bolt here, and then there's 2 bolts on this side, and then you can just move it out of the way. Now, where the actual harness plugs in, hope you guys can see this. There's a little zip tie. Here's the zip tie right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. But that's plugged into a little holder in the front. I disconnected mine. Oh, right here. It's plugged in right there. So you can undo it from the front. There's 2 little clips in the front. You just squeeze them together, it pops right out. Then you got to stick a screwdriver or something like that inside and it'll loosen it so you can get to the wires because your actual control is down there. Now the actual wire that you have to disconnect is gonna be difficult for you guys to see, is this black one. I'll get this out of the way. This black one right about there, and it has I already disconnected it because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's got a black and white, yellow and black, green and white, and then red and black. So that's where that's gonna go. So let me go ahead and get these controls off and get this wire out of the way so I can show you guys a little more of what's going on. All right, I'll be right back with you. Let me get this stuff out of the way. There's just 2 screws on the bottom of this, and then that comes right off. You just pull the harness out, you're good to go on that. So let me get this all wrapped up, and then I'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys, I got the controls off, as you can see. I got the wire semi-ran here. All I'm gonna do is nothing fancy. It's just gonna come back with these other wires and then go under I have my CDI mounted right here. So I'm gonna have the switch over here. So it's basically just gonna be like this. But let me get this clip plugged in. I'll show you guys exactly where it plugs into. All right, I got the clip hooked up. Let me slide it out here so you guys can take a peek at that. That's the clip you need to hook it up to. So that's done. Before I do anything, before I close this thing up, I'm gonna hook this switch up. So let me get this switch hooked up and make sure that this thing turns over before I go putting the whole bike back together. So you'll need some wire strippers. I'm only gonna do maybe 1/4 of an inch. The wire, where the wires go through the switch, is real small, so you're gonna need a real small screwdriver for this. And it doesn't matter which side the red or the black goes to. Doesn't matter at all, because all you're doing is when you push the button is completing the circuit. Quarter inch looks like it's actually too much. So I got the switch put on. Now let's see if this sucker turns over. Yep, she works. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. All right, so now that that's done, now we're gonna have to drill the hole and mount the switch and all that good stuff. So now this has to come back apart. And I don't know exactly what size this the hole you have to drill is. So I'm going to start with 3/8 because it's pretty close to what the whole size of that hole. Now, depending on where you want to put your switch, I'm going to mount mine. I'm going to mount mine over here. So I'm going to go drill through. Don't want to hit my wiring. So I got my hole. Let's see if this is gonna fit. I might have to go a little bigger. It's definitely not big enough. So we're gonna jump up to 1/2 inch. Got my 1/2 inch bit. Let's make the hole a little bigger. Plastic that's there up. Now that should be big enough. That is the answer right there. 1/2 inch. So now that you know that, you can pretty much go ahead and finalize this. Now I'm gonna hook the switch up first because it'll be easier doing it this way. Like I said, these were too long. These wires were too long, so I'm gonna trim a little bit of this off so that we don't have any kind of shorts or anything in the future. Now I am gonna put tiny, super tiny amount of Loctite on these 2 screws. Because the last thing you want to do is be somewhere and your bike don't start because on your way to where you're going, the screws jiggled loose. So I mean the tiniest, tiny. Look, I'm actually going to use the tip of my screws because these screws are small. Just a tiny bit. You probably don't even need it, but I'm not going to take a chance. Oh, make sure you put your nut on the wire before you go making all your final connections, wherever you're mounting it to. It's a bit tricky doing this, especially where I mounted it. I don't have much room for my fingers. Just make sure you got everything nice and tight. No room when I'm working. I mean, ideally you should take the wherever you're mounting it to off, because this is a little ridiculous. It's pretty much that. Just get everything cleaned up. Put it all back together. Let me get this all cleaned up, and then I'll be back with you guys in a minute and show you what all this stuff looks like cleaned up. Alright guys, I got this all wrapped back up. Got the ECU mounted back to where it goes. 1 bolt, 2 bolts, 3 bolts. That's pretty much that. Got the tie wrap mounted back to where it goes and the wires tightened back up. That's pretty much that. I mean, it's pretty simple, plug and play. You really can't, there's not really too much anybody can mess up here, and it'll clean up your handlebars. I just got to move over my my brake lever. Let me get the battery box on. We'll see what she looks like. Make sure you got everything nice and tight. Like no room when I'm working. I mean, ideally you should take the wherever you're mounting it to off, because this is a little ridiculous. pretty much that. Just get everything cleaned up. Put it all back together. Let me get this all cleaned up, and then I'll be back with you guys in a minute and show you what all this stuff looks like cleaned up. Alright guys, I got this all wrapped back up. Got the ECU mounted back to where it goes. 1 bolt, 2 bolts, 3 bolts. That's pretty much that. Got the tie wrap mounted back to where it goes and the wires tightened back up. That's pretty much that. I mean, it's pretty simple, plug and play. You really can't, there's not really too much anybody can mess up here, and it'll clean up your handlebars. I just gotta move over my my brake lever. Let me get the battery box on. We'll see what she looks like. All right, guys and gals, I'm back with you. Got this thing all wrapped back up. Give you a peek. Got her all buttoned back up. Everything's away and tucked away. No more kill switch and start button. Start button is now back there. So, pretty simple install. Plug and play. Like I said, it's from SmallEngineVelocity. SmallEngineVelocity.com. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Go check them out. It's under $20 shipped. You don't get 2 buttons. You have to pick which button you want. He has 3 different sizes. I think he has a 12 millimeter, a 16 millimeter, the one I installed, and a 19 millimeter, the one that goes in to replace one of these guys right here. So I know TRS sells a block plate, so you can get one with a switch and one with the block plate if you want to get rid of that, or you can just do what I did and hide the switch somewhere. I mean, you can always extend the wires and hide the switch really anywhere you want it to, under the seat. I mean, it really, it's up to you how far you want to take it. Like I said, I need a new battery box. So once I get a new battery box, I probably will change the location. But for right now, that's good, because this battery box is all messed up. It's got a big old crack right there. It's got this piece is all busted. So that's why I'm not worried about it. But it's just something cool. Clean up the handlebars. This is for a GET or a GY6, I believe. So all I did was replace my factory control that I modified, cut the brake off and smoothed it out, and that's how I was using my factory switch. And there's a little dimple inside here that people say drill the handlebars and make sure that the dimple fits, but I didn't do it. I shaved the dimple off for the simple fact that I knew I was going to do something like this one day, and I would have had a hole in my handlebars. So that's something to think about too for the future. But I'm going to leave a link in the description. Go check out my man SmallEngineVelocity. I'm going to leave a link in the description for the yellow headlight films, because I sell those. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.